Hello. Today we will study Unit 6 Gravitation. In this chapter, we are going to cover the Kepler's law of planetary motion, universal law of gravitation, acceleration due to gravity, and its variation with the altitude, latitude, and the depth, gravitational potential and gravitational potential energy, SK velocity, optical orbital velocity of satellite, and geostationary satellites. So basically, we are going to cover these main topics under this chapter, gravitation. So firstly, Kepler's law of planetary motion. What is Kepler's law for the planetary motion? Kepler's found important regularities in the motion of the planets. Okay, it is totally related to the planets, as it's already mentioned. It's for the planetary motion. And what actually Kepler found that there is important regulatories in the motion of the planets. These regulatories are known as Kepler's law for the planetary motion, and it has been divided into three main laws. First is law of orbit. All the planets move around the sun in the elliptical orbit and having the sun on the focus of an orbit. If this is the sun, that it is used to follow the elliptical path. Okay, so this is what about the law of orbit, or the first law. Now second is law of areas. A line joining any planet to the sun. There is one line, and see, as we know, these are the planets in the solar system, and a line is joining any planet to the sun. This is the sun, and if line is joining and sweeps out to the equal area in the equal time, it means the aerial velocity of the planet remain constant. This will be the second Kepler's law. First is based on the orbit, second one is based on the area. Third is law of period. The square of a period of revolution of any planet around the sun is directly proportional to the cube of its mean distance from the sun. This will be depends on the period, and that period is depend on the time and the time and the cube of the orbit or distance from the sun. It means mathematically we can write t square is directly proportional to r cube. When we remove the constant, it will be t square is equals to kr cube. T is the time period, r is the mean distance from the sun, and k is the constant. So this is about the Kepler's law. Moving to the next, Newton's universal law of gravitation. The force of attraction between any two material particles is directly proportional to the product of sum of masses of particle, and inversely proportional to the square of distance, and it act along to the two particle. It depends on the two particles, so it will be F is equals to G, M1, M2, and upon R square. M1 and M2 are the masses and R is the distance. Universal gravitation constant G. What this G means? This is the universal gravitational constant. So the universal gravitational constant G is numerically equals to the force with which two particles, each of the unit mass and the place of the unit distance, attract each other. Here the value of G is also defined mathematically. We can express it as F. G is equals to Fr square upon M1 and M2. Obviously, we'll just keep G one side and put another thing in the another side. It will be G is equals to Fr square upon M1 and M2. Then dimension will be M inverse L cube P minus 2. And the value of this will be in SI unit 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 11. And in CGS system, it will be 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 8 dyne. So, these are the values of gravitational G. Now, gravity. In Newton's law of gravitation, the gravitation is the force of attraction acting between any two bodies, as we know. If one of the body is the earth, then gravitation is called gravity. Gravity is something very common word which we have here. It is always between the particle and the surface area. And hence the gravity is the force by which earth attracted a body towards the center. This is what the gravity means. Now acceleration due to the gravity. The acceleration due to the gravity is the rate of increase in velocity of the body falling freely towards the earth. Freely moving towards the earth, the velocity, the rate of increase in velocity. Okay, this velocity of the body freely towards the earth. The acceleration due to the gravity is equals to the magnitude to the force exerted by the earth on a body of a unit mass. Let ME be the mass of earth and RE be the radius of earth. then G will be equals to small g, which is gravity, acceleration due to gravity, will be equals to capital G m e upon r e, and it's a square. Now, the variation in the value of the acceleration due to the gravity. Effect of altitude. Obviously, when it's coming downside, some of the like the terms will take place, like altitude, depth, latitude, etc. So, with respect to that, we'll have to study the value of acceleration due to the gravity. Firstly, effects of altitude, g dash will be equals to g 1 plus h upon r e and its whole square. H is the height above to the surface. Also, g dash will be equals to 1 plus h r e and minus 2, which is equals to g1 minus 2h and r e. We are using the binomial expansion considering here h is more less than r e. Effect of, so this is the equation for the effect of altitude. Effect of depth, g dash will be equals to g1 minus d upon r. Now, second is effect of altitude, which is on the axial rotation of the earth. G dash will be equals to g minus r epsilon omega square cos square lambda. When the lambda is equals to 0 degree, angle made on. Then here, when we substitute the value, we get at the equator, g dash will be equals to g minus r omega square, and at the pole, it will be g dash is equals to g. Now, this is the page representing the topics which we are going to cover under the gravitation, acceleration due to the gravity, variation of acceleration due to the gravity, characteristics of gravitational force, then weightlessness, Kepler's law, planetary motion, geostationary satellite, and the gravitational field and the potential. These all major topics we are going to cover in this chapter. Now, moving to the next, effect of shape of Earth. G is equals to GME upon RE square as we know. So clearly, smaller the value of RE dash, larger the value of G, as it's inversely proportional. As we go from the equator towards the pole, the radius RE goes on decreasing. It will decrease, and hence the value of G goes on increasing. In fact, about 60%, 65% of the variation in G, which is latitude, comes from the rotation of the earth, and the remaining 35% comes from the slightly flattened shape of the earth. Gravitational field. The gravitational field is a region of a space where any object with the mass experiences forces of attraction towards another massive object. This force of attraction is known as gravity. Gravitational field strength. The force experienced by the unit mass. Force is experienced by the unit mass placed in a gravitational field. Then this will be the gravitational field strength or intensity of the gravitational field at that point. Gravitational potential. The work done for bringing an infinitely small mass from infinity to the point in the gravitational field, then obviously it will be the gravitational potential. When any work is being done just to bring from infinite to the point in the gravitation, it will be the gravitational field. Mathematically, V is equals to W upon M. Gravitational potential due to the point mass, it will be V is equals to Gm upon R. R is the distance between the point mass, and M is the capital M is the mass. Gravitational potential on Earth, V will be equals to minus of Gme epsilon upon R epsilon plus H, where H is the height of the surface and negative sign indicates that attractive gravitational force is there. Now, gravitational potential energy. Gravitational potential energy of the body on the Earth's surface will be U is equals to minus Gm M upon R epsilon. This is the gravitational potential energy equation. Escape velocity. Escape velocity is defined as the minimum velocity with which the body is to be projected from the surface of the Earth or any other planet so that it crosses the gravitational field of the Earth or any other planet, never returns on its own. This will be the escape velocity. The kinetic energy given to the body to project it with the escape velocity, it is called escape energy. The energy is required for it, then it will be the escape energy. Equation will be VESC whole square root of 2GME and RE, distance of Earth and mass of Earth. So the escape energy G is equals to GME M upon RE. This will be the escape velocity. Now, orbital speed and the period of revolution of a satellite. Just as various planets revolve around the sun, in the same way, few celestial bodies revolve around the planets as well, right? So these bodies are called satellites, and the speed of satellite depends on the height above to the Earth's surface. Period of revolution, something important. Let t be the time of the one revolution of the satellite and h be the height of the satellite. As we know what is satellite. So in that particular satellite, let t be the time and h be the height above the surface. Then v0 is equals to orbital velocity. It will be equals to under root gm upon re plus h. So g re square upon re plus h. We just substitute the value. So the time period t is equals to 2 pi r upon v0. So we get 2 pi re plus h upon v0. This will be the time period or period of revolution. Energy of a orbiting satellite. A satellite revolving around the Earth has a potential energy as well as a kinetic energy. One satellite is revolving around the Earth and it is having both potential energy and kinetic energy. Then it has a potential energy because it remains in the gravitational field and of Earth, and the kinetic energy because it is in the motion. Why so? Just because it remains in the gravitational field, this is why potential energy, and the kinetic energy as it is in the motion. So K will be equals to half mv naught square, which is equals to half g m e m upon re. So this is the kinetic energy, and then potential energy U is equals to, as we have studied somewhere, you see here only, that minus g m e upon m and re. So therefore, the total energy will be the sum of the potential and the kinetic. When we substitute the value, we get total energy is equals to half minus of 1 by 2 GMEM upon RE. This is the energy of orbiting satellite. Now the binding energy. The energy required for the satellite to leave its orbit around the Earth's surface and escape infinitely, then it is called binding energy. For escaping when it's need infinity of energy, then this particular energy is the binding energy. Binding energy of the satellite is equals to 1 by 2 GMEM upon RT. Now, moving to the next. Geostationary satellite. Geostationary satellite travels from west to east. Okay. Over the equator. From the equator, the direction will be from west to east. It moves in the same direction and in the same rate. Earth is spinning. From the Earth, a geostationary satellite looks like the standing still, since it always above the same location. Obviously, it is moving in the same location, same moment wherever the Earth is moving. So it will remain same when we look it from the Earth. Parking orbit. A parking orbit is the temporary orbit using during the launch of a spacecraft. A launch vehicle boosts into the parking orbit, then coast from the while when the fire again to enter the final desired trajectory. This will be the parking orbit. Weightlessness. In Newton's physics, the sensation of the weightlessness is experienced by the astronaut. This is not just result of the zero gravitational acceleration, it is because of no gravitation force experienced by the astronaut due to the free fall condition. Also, there is no difference between the acceleration of a spacecraft and acceleration of the astronaut. So, for the best example for the weightlessness will be the astronaut. As we have studied the different terms, but for all these terms we have formulas as well, and these are the formulas from which we are going to even calculate some numerical values as well. So it's very necessary and important to learn these all formulas by heart. So as according to the Kepler's law, just keep in mind that T square is directly proportional to the R cube. Universal law of gravitation, which F is equals to G m1 m2 R square. Value of G also we should know as SI unit and the CGS system unit 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. In CGS 6.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 89 centimeter square per gram square. Acceleration due to the gravity G will always equals to GME upon R its whole square. These all terms I have already explained. Mass of Earth, distance of Earth and all. Variation of a G with respect to the altitude, G dash equals to G1 minus 2h upon RE. With respect to depth, G dash will be equals to G1 minus H upon RE. Variation of depth G with respect to latitude, then it will be G dash is equals to G minus RE omega square cos square lambda. Gravitational potential V is equals to minus of G ME RE plus H. Gravitational potential of energy U is equals to minus G ME M upon RE. Escape energy E escape is equals to G ME upon RE. Time period will be T is equals to whole square root of G RE square upon RE plus H. Energy of orbiting satellite, kinetic energy, potential energy, and the total energy, we have read that K is equals to half of G ME M upon RE, and the potential energy will be U is equals to minus G ME M upon RE. When we add on both the energy, then we get the total energy equation minus of 1 by 2 G ME M upon RE. Also escape velocity V escape is equals to whole square root of 2 G ME upon RE. So these are the important formulas or the key formulas which are related to the gravity or gravitation. Now, on the basis of that, we are going to solve few questions. Let's move forward with it. First is, the radius of the earth is 6400 kilometer. G is 10 meter per second square. In order to that body of 5 kg, the weight is 0 at the equator. The angular speed of the earth is. So, due to the earth rotation, we know that Z dash is equals to G minus RE omega square cos square lambda. Also, we have started the condition different pressure for the height, edge, latitude and all. So, just for the equator, lambda will be 0. So, this will be Z dash G minus RE omega square. As the weight to be 0, Z dash will always equals to 0. So, 0 is equals to, we'll put the value and here get omega is equals to like this equation. And omega is equals to mg. When we solve this one, we get omega is equals to under root of g upon r. When we substitute the values of g and r, 10 into 6400 into 1000, then we get omega is equals to 1 upon 800 radian per second. This will be the angular speed of the earth. Now, what would be the duration of the year if the distance between the earth and the sun gets doubled? So, it's talking about the sun and the earth. Then firstly, we know the equation, third Kepler law, and we just substitute write it over here, and this is the Kepler third law of planetary motion. When the radius of the earth and the sun gets doubled, a time period will be T nu K 2R and the power 3 by 2. So D will be equals to, when we solve this one, we get under root 80. Then it will be 2.282 and then T. Therefore, the new duration of the year will be 2.82. The times of the origin will be 1032 days per year. A body is projectile vertically from the surface of the radius r and the velocity of the half of the escape velocity. The maximum height reached of the body is. Firstly, let h be the maximum height by the conservation of energy. So, TE is equals to TEF final and the initial. Then we write the value for both I and F. And when we substitute this formula and simplify it, and here we just keep R and H one side. As maximum height reach we have to find. So, it will be R plus H equals to 4R upon 3. Then H will be equals to R upon 3. So, this is H will maximum height will be R is equals to R by 3. Now, there is no atmosphere on the moon because it is closer to the earth. It's not the correct reason it revolves around the earth. No, it gets light from the sun. No. The escape velocity of the gas molecules is the less than the root and the mean square of the velocity. That's why there is no atmosphere in the moon. Now, the mass of the two planets are the ratio 1:2 and the other radii ratio is 1:2. The acceleration due to the gravity planet are in ratio. So, G is equals to Gm upon R square. So, for the G1 and G2, it will be M1 upon M2 R2 square upon R1 square. So, it will be 1 by 2. Already ratio has been given and 4 by 1. When we solve this, we get 2:1. So, this will be the acceleration due to the gravity. G1 ratio G2 will be equals to 2:1. Why the earth flat at the poles? This is due to the rotation of earth about the polar axis. That's why earth flat at the poles. We know the two poles. After that, by the weight of the body of the equator less than the weight of the same body at the pole. This is because due to the G is the smaller equator than the poles. This is the reason. Now, let's move with the 2 marks question. The astronaut in a satellite orbiting the Earth feels weightlessness. Does the weightlessness is spent upon the distance of the satellite from the Earth? If so, why? Explain it. So, no, it does not, because the gravitational acceleration of the astronaut with respect to the satellite is 0. As we have read, that weightlessness only felt by the astronaut. And at that time, the gravitational acceleration of the astronaut with respect to the satellite is 0. Whatever this distance from this Earth, but it will be 0 only. An artificial satellite revolves in its orbit around the Earth without using fuel. But an aeroplane requires, due to the fuel, fly in certain height. So why? Air is necessary for aeroplane to fly. Hence, the aeroplane requires a fuel against the friction force due to the air. And the satellite orbit as much higher height where the air is rare and its friction is nearly negligible. Under the Earth, in the Earth, we can see air is playing a pivotal role, and that's why this airplane needs fuel. Whether satellite does not, because it is in the more height, and also the air is rare in the height when the height is maximum. So at that time, friction is nearly negligible. So this is the reason. Is it possible to place an artificial satellite in an orbit such it as a visible over the Lucknow New Delhi? Right, the reason. So, no, it's not possible. The satellite remain always visible. It should be in the circular orbit around the Earth in the equilateral plane, and the period of the satellite should be 24 hours, are not equilateral plane. Now, let's move forward with the 3 marker question. A body is taken from the center of the Earth and to the moon. We have taken a body from the center of the Earth to the moon. What will be the changes in weight of the body? So, the weight of the body of the center of the Earth is 0. As we know, G is equals to 0. It will increase moving from the center to the Earth's surface due to the increase in gravity. As G is increasing, so it will also going to increase. In the moving around above the Earth's surface, the weight will decrease. But above to the surface, it will decrease because due to the decrease in G. And one place where the gravitational force of the Earth and the moon are equal and opposite, the weight will become 0. At that moment, when they both are equal and or opposite, then it will become 0. Beyond this, up to the moon, the gravitational attraction of the moon becomes prominent. Hence, the weight of the body will go on increasing. On the surface of the moon, weight will be 1/6 of the weight of the Earth's surface, and G, moon surface, is 1/6 on the G surface. Each and everything depends on the gravity G. Now, the gravitational pull of the sun on the Earth's surface is greater to that of the moon on Earth. Yet, the tidal effect of the moon pulls the greater than the sun's pull. Why? So, the gravitational attraction of a sun on the Earth is greater than the moon on the Earth. The gravitational attraction of a sun on Earth is greater than that of moon on Earth, obviously. This is due to the very large mass of the sun. The reason is very large mass of the sun. Although the distance between the sun and the Earth is much larger than that between the moon and the Earth, and the gravitational force varies inversely to the square of the distance. On the other hand, the tidal effect varies inversely as the cube of the distance. Third law, and therefore, although the mass of the moon is smaller compared to the mass of the sun, yet the tidal effect is greater due to the square. So, mass is only the reason. Now, let's move with the 5 marks question. Compare between mass and the mass and the weight of the body in detail. So, we have mass and the weight. M is the mass, W is the weight. So, it is the quantity matter contained in both. In a body, it is attractive force exerted by Earth on any body. Its value does not change with the G, but its value changes with the G. Its value can never be 0 for any material particle at infinity, and at the center of the Earth, its value is 0. Its unit is kilogram and its dimension is amp. Its unit is Newton and kilowatt, and the dimension is mLt minus 2. It is determined by a physical balance. It is determined by a spring balance. It is scalar in quantity. It is vector in quantity. So, this is the comparison between the mass and the weight of a body. What is weightlessness? In which situation it can be observed? So the weight is the body of the force which it's attracted towards the center of the mass. When the body is stationary with respect to the earth, its weight is equals to the gravity. The weight of the body is also is known as to be the static or the true weight. We become conscious of our weight only when the weight which is the gravity, just with respect to the gravity, opposed by some other object. Actually, the secret of measuring the weight of the body with the weighing machine lies in the fact that we place in the body on the machine, and the weighing machine opposes the weight of the body. So, the reaction of the weighing machine to the body gives the measure of the weight of the body. So, the state weightlessness can be observed in the following situation. Firstly, when the object free falls under the gravity. Second is when the satellite revolves in the orbital around the earth, and when the bodies are in the null point in the outer space. So these are the conditions for the weightlessness. Derive an expression for the escape velocity on the surface. The minimum velocity with which the body must be projected up and so enable it is just to overcome to gravitational pull. It is known as escape velocity. This is the definition for the escape velocity. The minimum velocity which with body is projected and unable to just overcome to the gravitational pull. The force of attraction the body placed in the distance is x and the center of mass is gmm upon x squared. So work done to move the object a smaller distance dx against the force is gmm upon x square dx. So the amount of work done for the object at the infinite will be r to minus infinite gmm upon x square dx. It will be gmm upon r. If v is the escape velocity on the surface, then it will be half mv square gmm upon r. When we just keep v in the one side, we get v is equals to under root of 2gr. This is the important derivation for the escape velocity. We get the escape velocity value v is equals to under root 2gr. Now, let's move forward with the numerical one. We have m of mass of earth, m is equals to 6 into 10 to the power 24 kg. Revolved around the sun with the angular velocity 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 radian second. In the circular orbit 1.5 into 10 to the power 8 kilometer. What is the force exerted by the sun on the earth? So mass we have, omega we have, and or the angular velocity we can say, r distance also we have. So the force exerted by the earth F is equals to m omega square r. So by substituting the value, when we substitute all the values whatever we have, we get the value of F is equals to 36 into 10 to the power 21. So with the help of formula, we directly calculated the force exerted by the sun on the earth. Second, a body weighs 700 gram on the surface of the earth. How much will be weight of the surface planet whose mass is 1.7, the radius is half to that of surface? We know that g is equals to gm upon r square. On the plane g, b is equals to gm upon gm by 7 and r square by 4, which is equals to 4g upon 7 or 4 by 7 of g. Hence weight in the planet will be 700 multiplied 4 by 7. We get the value 400 weight. So weight on the planet will be 400 gram. The mass of the diameter of planet have twice of the value corresponding to the parameter of the Earth's surface. What is the acceleration due to the gravity on the surface planet? So g dash upon g for the different gravitational forces, and m dash upon m, r upon r dash its whole square. We substitute the value to m upon m and then r by 2r. So whole square we get 1 upon 2. So g dash would be equals to g by 2. This will be 9.8 upon 2. So we get 4.9 meter per second square. A planet has twice of the radius with the mean density is 1 by 4 to as compared to the Earth. What is the ratio of escape velocity to that from the planet? So v is equals to r whole square root of 8 by 3 rho pi rho g. So Vp upon d is, it will be RP upon RE. Then substitute the value, we get 2 1 by 4. We already have the mean density. This will be equals to the 1. So the ratio will be 1:1. If a new planet is discovered rotating around the sun with the help of orbital radius, then what will be the time period of the Earth days? Third law of motion, we just put the value for the Tp upon T its whole square, Rp upon R its whole cube. Substitute the value, we get Tp upon T is equals to 2 root 2, and when we substitute all the values over here, we get value of Tp is equals to 1032. Now, case-based question. So we have particular case, and on the basis of that we have few questions that we are going to solve. So firstly, let's read the case. Read the following text and answer the following question on the basis of say. A black hole is placed on the space where the gravity pulls so much that even the light cannot get out. The gravity is in the strong matter has been squeezed in the tiny space. From the Newton's universal law is equals to gm upon r square. The photons have no mass. From the Einstein mass energy given this relation is equals to mc square. According to the quantum theory of the radiation, E is equals to hn, then m is equals to h by c and then lambda. Putting the expression into law of gravitation, force acting on the light particle equation has been given. Because the no light can be out, people can't see black holes. They are invisible. A space telescope with the special tools can be help find the black holes. A beam of the light just grazing the edge of the sun and also blend a little. This may observe during the total solar eclipse. The position of the star will appear closer to the sun. Black holes can be big and small. Scientists think that the smallest black hole or the smallest is just one atom. The black holes are very tiny but have an extremely high density. Another kind of black is called stellar, and it mass can be up to 20 times and more than the mass of the sun. There may be the many stellar mass black holes of the Milky Way. The largest black holes are called supermassive, and the black holes have the masses. Those are 1 million sun together, and scientists have found the proof that every large galaxy contains a supermassive black hole at its center, and the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy is a Scarus, and it has a mass of the equal about 4 million sun and won't fit inside a very large ball could hold a few million earth, and a black hole cannot be seen because strongly gravity pulls and light in the middle black hole, but scientists can see how strong gravity affect the stars and the gas around the black hole. If a black hole of the same mass as the sun replaces the sun, and earth of other planets will orbit the black hole as the orbit sun of now. So this is the case along with some equations, and we have some respected questions, so we'll have to figure it out. The gravity of the black hole is strong because its density is too low, its density is too high, its volume is too small, both A and C. So here its density is too high, that's why black hole is so strong. Obviously, strongness depends on the density, and that's because of that density is too high. The gravity of the black hole is strong. The gravity of black hole is so strong because it has been squeezed into the tiny space. That's why we can conclude that option B is the correct one. The supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way galaxy is, this one is correct as we have already studied it. Now, what will happen to the Earth's surface, Earth and the other planet, if the black hole is the same mass and the sun replaces the sun? Then at that time, Earth and the planet will this orbit and a whole as they orbit as sun now. When sun replaces sun, then this option B would be the correct. If the black hole is the same mass as the sun replaces the sun, Earth and the other planet will orbit the black hole and orbit the sun now. These all questions are the very simple, depends on the case. Read the case twice and you will easily get all the answers of these questions. Again, the attractive force acting the light particle by the black hole is. So firstly, from the Newton's gravitational law of gravitation, F is equals to gmm upon r square. The photon has no mass. Is from the Einstein mass of E is equals to mc square. E is equals to h mu. So m is equals to hc upon lambda. when we putting in the expression of Newton's law of the gravitation, air particle will be equals to mhg and c lambda r square. It means option A is the correct one. A beam of the light is just grazing the edge of the sun and also bend a little. It is observable during the total solar eclipse. As how to observe the beam of the light is just grazing the edge of the sun bends. This can be observed during a total solar eclipse carefully. Measuring the location of the star, it appears in the sun. In 1990, team of astronauts observed the solar eclipse from the Brazil and from the island of the Atlantic from the two different positions. They intercepted the path of total solar eclipse are carefully photographed the position of the nearby stars. Several months later, they announced that Einstein was right. The rays were really bent. So, from the total solar eclipse only, we can observe it. So, this was a case-based question. Now, we have some subjective-based question as well. Same, the subject is given, and on the basis of that, you will have to answer. So, like, what is geocentric theory? Which observation supported to the geocentric theory? These all things have been mentioned here. What actually the geocentric theory is? Heliocentric theory as well. These all things has been explained this subjective or this paragraph. Then on the basis of that, you will have to answer. So, assertion and the reason based question. Again, that will be saying like we have assertion, we have reason, and on the basis of that, we have to conclude whether both A and R are true. R is the correct explanation for the A. Second one, both I and R B. A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. A is the true, but R is the false. A is false, but R is the true. So we have to conclude on the basis of the assertion and the reason. Like see, assertion is like at a depth of the equal twice the height from the surface of the earth, magnitude of the acceleration due to the gravity are equal. And reason is acceleration due to the gravity of height is h and the depth is y. R g 1 plus 2x upon r and g 1 plus y respectively. So this is all about the reason. Firstly, we can conclude that they both are not related. So obviously, this will not be the correct one. A is not the correct one. Now, second is according to this acceleration due to the gravity of the height h and the wells is this is the equation. Okay. So when y is equals to 2x, then depth become the equal to the twice. So height from the surface, then the acceleration due to the gravity becomes all equal. So the assertion is true. Here it's concluded from this equation that this will be the true, but this will not be the true. But reason is the false. So option C will be the correct one. So with respect to the statement, with respect to the equations, we have to conclude which one is the correct, which one is the wrong. One more will do it. Like second one is assertion is the magnitude of the acceleration due to the gravity does not depends on the mass of the body which force act. And the reason is the acceleration due to the gravity is a constant quantity. So here, firstly, explanation is acceleration due to the gravity G is equals to Gm upon R square. So it does not depend upon the mass. Here we can see. Okay. So on which force acts? Hence the assertion is true. This is correct. Does not depend on the mass. Acceleration due to the gravity is not a constant quantity. It varies with the latitude. We have studied on the basis of height, depth, latitude, altitude. So the reason is the false. So whatever the concepts we have covered on the basis of that only will have to answer. Again, one more is assertion is the acceleration due to the gravity increases with the height above the surface. And the reason is gravitation force increases rapidly with the height above to the surface. So acceleration due to the gravity at an height above h or surface g dash is equals to g 1 minus 2h upon r. So as the height increases, the acceleration due to the gravity decreases, and hence the acceleration is false. Hence the assertion is false. In everyday situation, the gravitation force on the something does not change significantly as it tried to. So the gravitational force L is 200 and around the 95% of the magnitude sea level. Hence the reason is true, but assertion is wrong. Now, on the basis of the formulas and the concepts which we have studied, you will have to complete this self-assessment paper for the chapter 6 gravitational. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the chapter 7. Thank you.